Commonwealth Court of Assistant Attorney Clarence Brown.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Registrar Joanne Nancy Ramon Vega, who's present in court.
Please. Next, Commonwealth versus Ramon Vega, indictment number 2011-360, count 1, charge of home invading, counts 2, 3, and 4, charges of assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon, counts 5 and 6, charges of assault and battery. Mr. Vega, are you waiting to complete formal readings of each of these indictments? How do you do this? Allow us. Commonwealth, question on the bill.
There is a question on the bill. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. For the facts of this case, the Commonwealth's asking for $10,000 cash bail in this case. Mr. Vega's return to court. Your Honor, the facts of this case are that on January 17th, 2011, in the evening at 283 East Merrimack Street, the residents of that location, the male, Mr. Bernardo Gloria, left the house in the evening to go to his brother's house. He left behind his girlfriend, Jessica Green, and their almost 5-month-old baby. As she was in the house, Ms. Green heard someone enter the house. She knew it was her boyfriend, Mr. Gloria. She heard footsteps coming up the stairs towards the bedroom. The person did not enter the bedroom. Shortly thereafter, she heard a second set of footsteps, and she knew something was wrong. She left the bedroom to check on her baby, and when she left the bedroom, she was confronted by two individuals who she described as three Hispanic males. They were wearing hoodies, and their faces were covered with ski masks or makeshift masks, and one of the individuals was holding what looked to be a large hunting knife. The individual holding the hunting knife grabbed Ms. Green by the throat, pushed her back into the bedroom, threw her down onto the bed, and began choking her. She attempted to fight back and attempted to grab the cellular phone that was on the bed, a cordless phone, excuse me. At that point, the man with the knife grabbed the phone away from her and struck her in the face. At the direction of the individual with the knife, another of the individuals tied her up, tied her hands with rope, threw her to the floor, grabbed a bathrobe belt that was found in the room and used that to tie her feet. After she was tied up, after a short period of time, her boyfriend, Mr. Gloria, came home. He called to her. She stated, baby, we've been broken into. Mr. Gloria came into the house, and in coming into the house, found a television that usually is in his daughter's bedroom, lying on the floor at the foot of the stairs with a knife nearby. Realizing that something was wrong, he called out to his girlfriend, but she was being robbed. He saw a male standing on the stairs with a black hoodie on, jeans, and ski mask, which only showed his eyes and nose. That individual was holding a TV. Charged past Mr. Gloria, and ran from the house. Mr. Gloria got up, attempted to follow that man, and realized we saw another individual also wearing a hoodie and a ski mask. As he saw that individual lunged for a knife that was on the floor. The two of them wrestled. At some point during this incident, that individual grabbed a laptop computer that was on a table near the door and threw it at Mr. Gloria, striking him. During this wrestling, Mr. Gloria grabbed the individual's jacket, which pulled the jacket and the ski mask aside. He was able to see the individual's face, which looked he was fighting, and recognized him as someone he had seen around the neighborhood. The individual fled from the house. Mr. Gloria gave chase. He returned to the house. The ties off of Ms. Green, they called 911. Your Honor, Mr. Gloria, they were shown photographs based on the description that they provided. Mr. Gloria, reviewing those photographs that were shown to him by the police, was able to identify the defendant before you, Mr. Vega, as being the individual who he had struck in the house. A photo array was made based on the photograph that Mr. Gloria identified, and that photo array was shown to Ms. Green. When she saw the photo of the defendant, Mr. Vega, before you, she had an immediate emotional and physical response. She placed her hand over her mouth, began crying, and said, "That's him." More specifically, Ms. Green stated that she used her hands to reveal the portion of the photograph that had been revealed by the individual wearing the mask. And she identified Mr. Vega most specifically
GPS bracelet and other conditions, including a stay-away order for the name of complainants. The defendant has no ability to close bail. Your Honor, despite the Commonwealth's resignation, this is, in my opinion, an incredibly weak case. What the Commonwealth didn't tell you is that at the probable cause hearing, the two complainants testified and identified this same defendant as being two different perpetrators in this alleged home invasion. The complainants claimed that three males entered their house, described first as a male in a black hooded sweatshirt, a black mask, and black pants. Described the second as a male in a black or navy sweatshirt with a white mask. And described the third as wearing a black sweatshirt covered with gold writing. Jessica Green claims that she was assaulted by the individual in the black hooded sweatshirt with a black mask and the black pants. Claims this is a person who had threatened her with a knife and had hit her. She claims that the man who was in the black sweatshirt with gold writing over it was in the house but didn't do anything, didn't touch her, didn't approach her. Ms. Green later identified Mr. Vega as being the individual in the black hooded sweatshirt, black mask, black pants, and that was in a photo array that she was shown. Renata Gloria claims that the man who attacked him in the living room and was holding the flash on TV was the man in the black sweatshirt covered with gold writing, not the man in the black sweatshirt. Renata Vega identified Ramon Vega from a computerized photo array as being the person in the black sweatshirt with gold writing all over it. So the two complainants essentially identified this defendant as each being a different perpetrator in the house that evening. When this point was made to Judge Harvey at the probable cause hearing, he asked me, well, is it enough if I believe one of them? And here I would suggest that obviously Judge Harvey felt that was enough in terms of the direct verdict standard. That is the requirement of the probable cause hearing, but I do think it's a significant issue in terms of the question of bail here in the Superior Court. I haven't seen the grand jury minutes yet, so I'm not sure what was alluded in the witness in terms of that testimony, but I do think it is incredibly troubling. What's more troubling is that Mr. Gloria, in testifying in the probable cause hearing, described the photo identification that took place, said that he was shown multiple pictures in a computerized photo array, and that the defendant, Ramon Vega, was featured more than once in the computerized photo array. He also testified that a photograph was printed out and shown to him, and it was a photograph of the defendant. The Commonwealth has represented no such photo exists and cannot be turned over in discovery in this case. Beyond that, the next photo array that took place with Jessica Green was conducted after Mr. Gloria was shown the photograph, and there was contact between these two witnesses according to their testimony at the probable cause hearing. They were allowed to speak to each other and hand off their baby who needed to be changed. So that certainly calls into question the validity of the second photo array as well, given the fact that after Mr. Gloria made an identification, he had contact with Ms. Green, who then identified this defendant as he had, except as treated the perpetrators in the same alleged manner. And I think it's also important to note that, as Mr. Brown pointed out, that Ms. Green identified a mark on the defendant's face, and that Judge Harvey took note of it as well. What Ms. Green said, Mr. Clark, was that the perpetrator who attacked her had a mole on his face. Mr. Vega does not have a mole on his face. Judge Harvey took judicial notice of the defendant's face and said he did see a small mark to the left of his nose. What was interesting about the probable cause hearing, and this was addressed at length, at the probable cause hearing, the defendant was kept out of view of the two witnesses, per my motion. Ms. Green was shown the photo that she had reportedly been shown of the defendant at the police station, except the one that she was shown at the probable cause hearing was a black and white copy, and not the original color photo. The black and white copy was of fairly poor quality, and it appeared in the photo that the defendant had a fairly large mole on his face. When Ms. Green was shown this photo, she had said, oh, I was able to recognize him from his eyes and his nose, and then for the first time ever said, and from the mole on his face. This had never been mentioned any police report, any witness statement, anywhere until she had taken the stand, probable cause hearing, and was shown this poor quality black and white photo. It's my position that she invented this testimony on the spot when she saw this photograph, but really for her detriment, given the fact that she wasn't identifying the mole at all. She was looking at this actually a poor quality photocopy, because Mr. Vega, as the court can see, does not have any kind of mole on his face that she described as a probable cause hearing. In any event, Your Honor, that is essentially the testimony. Beyond that, Mr. Gloria claims that in a darkened living room, he pulled the mask off the perpetrator, saw his profile, and said that he recognized him as someone from the neighborhood. He said he recognized him as someone that he had seen sometime earlier walking two pit bulls in the neighborhood. Mr. Vega doesn't own any pit bulls. There's no testimony that Mr. Vega owns any pit bulls. When I asked Mr. Gloria about how often had he seen this man in the neighborhood, he said, "Oh, I saw him every week, every single week, for at least 6 months leading up to this home invasion." And Mr. Clark, I'll tell the court, that is factually impossible, because Mr. Vega was not living at home for the 6 months prior to the alleged home invasion. So, Your Honor, obviously Mr. Vega has a record, never been certainly accused of a crime of this nature before. He has a girlfriend because they were homeless at the time of this event, but he could be placed on a GPS bracelet given the fact that the landline is no longer required for the GPS bracelet, certainly in order that he stay away from the Merrimack Street location, the home of the complainants in this case. But Your Honor, we will be asking for a very short trial date in this case. This is very weak witness testimony on behalf of both Mr. Gloria and Ms. Green. Mr. Gloria admitted also to being a recovering heroin addict. Ms. Green admitted to being bipolar and not on medication. There are certainly issues there that need to be explored further. The issue of identification in this case is troubling in terms of purported repeated showings of this defendant to a witness, contact between the two witnesses, between identifications, and if this is the Commonwealth's case, Your Honor, I would suggest that $10,000 is not appropriate, and that a GPS bracelet would assure his return to court and would ensure the safety of the